everybody, welcome back to Cooking with Legs. Took a couple days off, that back to school thing. Everybody knows what that's like, right? It's fun. It's only a little bit hectic. Yeah. So here we are. I'm excited for this though. I did some stuffed shells a few weeks ago that half cheese and half meat. Um, Doing it a little bit different. I'm not doing the meat. I'm doing half cheese and half spinach and artichoke. This is perfect for Lent. And the stuffing is fantastic in almost anything. If you look on my website into the forum area, there's a section with a cookbook. Inside the cookbook is a recipe for spinach dip. And I've been told by several people who've had it that it's the best dip they've ever had. This is a variation of that recipe. A few changes, but I'm going to go over real quick what we're going to do. We're going to saute down some onion and some red bell pepper. This is not in the spinach dip recipe. And we're going to saute that down, and when that's about halfway done, we're going to add in some fresh spinach. And the spinach dip recipe calls for frozen. I use fresh for this with the stuffing, especially when it's in pork loin. It's fantastic. And that's cooked down, or almost cooked down. We're going to add in some artichoke hearts, roughly diced. And then when that cooks down, we're adding some garlic and some fresh basil. Then we're going to go ahead and add in some cream cheese, some Monterey Jack, some sour cream, and some freshly grated parmesan. Get all of that together. We're going to let it cool. And then we're going to go ahead and cook the shells and stuff the shells with that. Bake it for 35, 45 minutes. Let everything else come together. This stuffing is fantastic. You've got to try this. I love it in chicken. I love it in pork loin. I love it wrapped up in just a nice big flat piece of steak or what was it, veal, which is hard to find nowadays for some reason. But oh, this is so good. Anyway, let me get started with this, and we'll show you how we put it together. Basically, with this, we want to sweat it down. We're not looking to caramelize it or nothing. We just want to get it soft. And the red bell pepper. Add in some salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And one thing with this recipe, because there's so much cheese and milk fat, it needs heat. So, we're going to not be shy when we add in some crushed red pepper and some Cajun seasoning. We want that heat in here. See how dark this is from the seasoning? That's kind of what you want at this point. It's going to brighten up when we add all of the cheeses and the creams and everything else. Don't worry. So you're going to feel like you're overdoing it in the beginning. It all evens out in the end. You just want to cook this down so there's no color left in that onion. Maybe 10 or 12 minutes. All right, so about 10 minutes in, and things coming along nicely. Go ahead and add in the artichoke and spinach. Trust me, that'll all cook down, I promise. Garlic and the basil. And we just want to kind of work that in, let it all fold together. Let that spinach kind of wilt down. All right, when you get to about this point with the leaves, we're going to add roughly 4 ounces of cream cheese, half of a container, roughly 4 to 6 ounces of sour cream. Essentially, you want equal parts. So the cool thing about this recipe, everything is equal parts. There's no math involved. Just want to work all of that in, and then we're going to add the pepper jack and the Parmesan cheese to tighten it all up. This is going to get nice and loose now. All that come together. The Parmesan cheese. All right, so that's the stuffing. I'm going to take this out, let this cool, put it in the fridge, it's going to really congeal in the fridge so we can stuff the shells with it later. I'm going to get started working on the marinara sauce and the cheese stuffing in a minute. Ricotta cheese, done. Some fresh basil, 2 eggs, Parmesan, a little bit of about 4 ounces roughly of mozzarella, salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder, oregano. Just gonna fold all of this together, throw that in the fridge. That's when you set this in the fridge and get started with the sauce, or the red sauce. White pan, some shallot, let that cook down, and we'll add some garlic. The trick to this is it only uses 2 cans of tomato paste. Drop in the garlic for a few seconds. You need to be careful not to let it brown. Just want to let it get nice and floral. And there's some sweet basil in there with it too. Some fresh basil. Here comes the fun part. I'm going to throw in 2 cans of tomato paste. There's cans of tomato paste that you got sitting in your pantry for the last year. It's a great thing to do with them. I figure all it is a whole lot of tomato sauce with the moisture pulled out. So all we got to do is rehydrate it, right? I want to get a little bit of roast in there, a little bit of flavor. Not much. You want to dump some water on it, pull it up to a boil. Roughly 2 cups of water per can. So I got 2 cans, I'm using 4 cups. I think they use in the factories when they're making that crap out of a jar. Prego, Rouse, whatever it is in the jar. It's the same thing. You're just doing it on a smaller scale in your kitchen. Real quick, before it comes to a boil, with some fresh cracked pepper and some crushed red pepper. Just going to put in what I know I'm going to need. And now we're up to a boil. We added a little bit of oregano and a little bit of a little more basil to it. See where we're at with the flavor. That's great. A lot of balsamic vinegar in my homemade marinaras. Not much, just a little bit. The thickness I've got right now is about where I want. I'll let it go ahead and reduce a little bit. If you want it even thicker, just let it reduce more. In other words, let it boil a little bit longer. If you want it thinner, add more liquid. That's perfect. All right, so the great thing about sauces like this, and we got this nailed. Added a little more balsamic vinegar, add a little more crushed red pepper. It's perfect. You can tailor it to how you like it. This is how I like my red sauce. I like vinegar in there. I want that depth from the vinegar. I want the heat from the crushed red pepper. I want the sweetness from the onion. I have it all in here. And the garlic from the garlic. I mean, who doesn't like garlic? Garlic not eating people. So anyway, this is perfect. This is going to go sit on the side and we're going to get everything else started. So here we are. We've got the shells cooked at al dente. Now we're just going to go ahead and stuff them with the stuffings. All right, so when you're doing these ones with the artichoke and the spinach in them, it's the same process. You're just using the spoon to kind of fill up the little shelly thing. And you always want to put them seam side up. It's kind of the real constant. Don't put them seam side down, otherwise everything's going to leak out of them. Just put them seam side up. And cover them with some more that fresh shredded mozzarella. Everything's better with fresh cheese, right? In the oven, they're going to go for 350 for about 30 to 35 minutes. Why, yes, yes, sir. I would love some cheese on that. Let's get some cheese on there. And we don't have the little Xylus gunny thing, so we're going to put some fresh cheese on there. That's pretty, pretty, pretty. A little more fresh cheese on there. A little bit more greeny things. Enjoy.